Good day, this is Regina's Rabbit Hole, and I'm at the dam again. It's really pretty here. And the last time we were talking about sexual energy. I'm just going to continue that. We're talking about the root chakra and the color red, and perceptions, and usurping the energy through media. Today I want to talk about orange. How orange is cleansing the sacral chakra, the second chakra that has to deal with water, cleansing and turning. Orange is the color for cleaning. And when it comes to the Kundalini energy and cleaning, this theme kept going through my head, and that was the rainbow. What they did with the rainbow, how color is attached to our chakra system, and how that is tied to the astrology, how it's tied to music, and how frequency and vibration is attached to color, and that's attached to doggone everything. When people study advertising, they study on how to put these things together in order to get people to do certain things, like triggers. How to get people to buy more, to eat more, to want more of something. Good day, family. Thank you for joining me. So it's been bothering me since I was a little girl, what they've been doing with the rainbow in regards to male and female energy. A lot of tricks, that are played on our minds. Like when I was little, only girls could wear pink. You weren't really supposed to wear blue. It was one of those gender things. Somewhere along the line it changed, and now, guys are in dresses and girls are in flannel, the shirts that used to only be for guys with the checkers and stuff. So our dress code is different. The colors are different. The color association is different. Taste the rainbow. That really does something for you. When you know about colors in the chakra system. I was thinking about how much color is a trigger. I was thinking about how much we spend time thinking about so many things, but color association was one of those things I realized was kind of strange. For instance, I would think of red and immediately think of what the program was. 911, ambulances, fire engines, fire, trouble, stop sign, red light. It's like the negative side of things. But I wasn't thinking things like ball, sunset, strawberry, flowers. Not immediately. Now I can. And with orange, the cleansing color. We need this orange. We need to have this cleansing. What am I getting at? What is so difficult to say? The usurping that's going on. I don't have any problem with people having other ways to sexually identify themselves. That's their journey. I don't have a problem with people being gay or straight or bi. That's their journey. What bothers me is the advertisement. That's the usurping and the brainwashing. That's the part I don't like. The part I don't like is that simply by expressing that leaves a pathway for people who are overly sensitive or ignorant or usurping the energy in a negative way so that you cannot hear. You cannot hear when people say, I don't have a problem with that. But within that arena, I have an issue with the way in which they're using it, they're portraying it, they're sharing it. The generalization that's going on with sexuality and this rainbow. This rainbow is now associated with being gay. There's nothing wrong with being gay. But yo, I want my rainbow. And I want my rainbow to mean the same for my daughter as it does for my grandson, as it does for me. It's color. It's color association. It should not be locked and boxed in to particularly identifying with gender or any other thing that wants to usurp and make something negative or make money off of something. It's not the only portrayal that the rainbow is used for. And as much as I like color, there's actually something trying to change my frequency and vibration right now. I can feel it. And then the added noise, and there's been a few strange things that have happened here. Like I had to move, actually. When I first came, there was another strange social encounter. Like I don't know why somebody would stand right in front of you and do a meditation with their earphones on right in front of your... So I moved and I came over here and it's been cool, but then there's a little extra energy going on, and most of it is just so my thoughts are scattered, so my delivery doesn't come across in the way that I mean for it to. Since the ambulance in the car, I've started shaking, just like the other day when I was on the lawn and I was talking to you and I could feel the electronic interference. There's electronic interference right now. I could feel in my sphere, in my space, the space that I was talking about the other day, that we have layers of space. And to watch out who we allow in our space. There's things that we need to talk about as people. My right to choice is the right to choose what I want and what I don't want. And if I don't express it, how can I have a corresponding frequency? How can you even know that I'm here if I don't tell you what I'm thinking? And I don't reach out to find other people who feel the same way that I feel. Like everything has to do with offending somebody when you're looking for allegiance. Now this is a very delicate subject. Gay people go through a lot. They go through a lot of discrimination. Then you got stuff going on with yourself that many times you haven't figured out yet. And it's such a personal, tender, precious, sacred space, your sexuality. And should be valued, honored, and respected. That's my foremost point. No matter who you are, your sexual development should be that. as you respect and value and appreciate other people's way of expressing themselves. This is I would assume, more of a grown-up thing to do than to stick people in a box and tell them what they should be doing with their own bodies and sacred space and personalities and how they plug into life. How their very life source energy interacts and plugs into others. Now I realize, even being a strange kind of girl, how difficult that this would be. I added stuff on. Don't think that I don't know. There's a lot of things that you don't ask and we don't tell. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that don't need to be discussed. It's your personal business. And if there is a time when you should get together with someone where you want to invite them into your personal space, that would be the time to discuss it. But to make entire whole categories of spaces to be in and then invent entire venues to cater to that, which have now been exploited. And along with the idea of being gay, because people have exploited the sensitivity and the needs, the need for safety, the need for acceptance, the need to get together. You have an association with deviants now. There's an association with gay being a bad thing. That if you're gay, you could possibly be a pedophile. There's people who are associating the venue that was made. Here we go again. There's never this much noise over here. The venue that was made to help people feel safe and protected and to explore themselves was exploited. And the same way that everything else is. And that's why this needs to be talked about, along with the color orange for cleansing. They play with us and they exploit our sensitivities and our weaknesses. For instance, did you know that addiction is the sign of lack of liberation? And the fact that we are pent up and can't express ourselves. Many people are economically starving. These are things that cause a lack of liberation. Economic unempowerment, gender suppression, suppression of our need to communicate and grow. You don't got to agree with what I'm saying, and I don't even have to say it right. But there should be a venue for it, for us to talk. We're a melting pot, and we're melting without even knowing what's in the pot. There's a lot of different cultures and a lot of different ideas and ways of living in which we have within our society. A lot of time is being spent suppressing our understanding one another, even if we don't agree, to know where we're coming from more, so that there's less fear and less means of people manipulating the venues that are put there for people to get to know one another. Usurping, like feminism. Yes, there's gender issues. Compare, please. I put some pine sap on my face, and I don't care. I don't care slightly. I just realized you might be able to see it, and I don't want to get into looking for it, but I forgot about that before. Okay, so yeah, feminism. And the usurping of feminism into areas that are not going to bring liberation. Excuse me, but putting a pussy hat on my head, I don't feel like it's going to bring me liberation. It might make me feel liberated because they can't say anything about me putting this hat on my head, and I can do what I want. And that's, to me, was childish. Like little girls going to march with some boots and hats on. I don't know, where was the agenda there? It was cute, but it wasn't going to help us as women be taken more seriously. I don't think. I'm pretty sure of that because of the comments that I heard some of the men make and the way that I felt about it myself. But it's like, what are you doing? Like what happened with Martin Luther King, human rights, right? The usurping. They start these organizations and they bring in money and there's a lot of talk. And the talk goes into an area that's not helping anybody and it causes more confusion, is what I'm saying. Be gay, be happy, be free. But do I have to see advertising? You can say that it's okay, but in the same place that children are going to daycare and there's Muslim women, there's Buddhists, there's Christians, there's all these different nations and people using these public facilities, right? Where is the conversation to get to know what these different lifestyles are within that realm, just to talk to one another? Let alone the non-discussion about being gay. But then you're walking down the hall and you see pictures of women kissing. And the poster says, I asked, and she said yes. You walk down the hall a little further, and you see a poster of two guys holding hands. I know you want to feel safe, you know. As a woman, I want to feel safe. As a black woman, I want to feel safe. So I know that if you're in a category, you want to feel safe. What I don't like is people taking my category and usurping it to do things that are not going to be beneficial for me. Where are the organizations really to help women? Where are the organizations that were supposed to be helping all these black folks? We're all talking about that right now. There's not enough for the work that was put in. And for all the posters that I see for gay rights, are they thinking about anybody else's rights? Please don't get lost is what I'm saying. Don't get lost. Don't let them use you like that. They use everyone. And the whole point was, dang, you done broke out a D box. The box. The box that has to do with the box. And out of desperation, we allow them, when we finally get a category and we get acknowledged and we're going to hold on to it, and then they take it and they say, yeah, we got this box, so we're going to let you have the box. You can swag out the box. I know that when you have an idea, getting people to organize and get on board with you and getting that thing floating is very difficult. Getting new ideas and getting new energy in there to move something along. Things that we feel like we need, things that you might feel like you need. Happens to me all the time. It could be simple things, you know what I'm saying? Getting people on board with you to move things that you feel like are needed. Maybe it's just your voice that needs heard, or something, an item. People are inventing apps and software and all kinds of stuff right now. Programs, writing books. You know, so I'm not picking on one particular category. We're talking about intimacy and male and female relations and the way that we move together, we jive together, how we need each other. Okay? I still need you to be there for my children. I still need you to be there and be on your best behavior when I'm walking through the halls. Regardless of what your gender is, that shouldn't be the first thing on my mind. That shouldn't be how you identify yourself, in my opinion. Who are you? In here. How are you dressing me? In here. Am I a person first before I'm a girl? Before I'm a black girl? Before I'm a married black girl to a heterosexual male? So what am I? What are you seeing when you see me? That's the whole freaking problem. These other boxes and categories and programs are a after effect. That's the state of emergency. Gosh darn it, we don't know how to act. We don't know how to act, so we need a freaking whole category to take care of this issue that's been neglected. Human rights, Black Lives Matter, feminism, the gay agenda. Ha. Who's laughing now? I don't really think that gay people got what they want any more than Black Lives Matter is getting what they want, any more than women through the feminist movement is getting what they want. But there's a lot of noise and movement going where? Are things better where you are? How come we couldn't just accept each other and talk about these things? What does clothing? I see more gay memorabilia and paraphernalia than I actually see stability. Just all these laws and stuff like that. People are freaking panicking and they're paranoid over the subject because it has associations with negative connotation. That's a whole separate issue that shouldn't even be there. But it's usurped. Pedophilia should not be under the gay agenda. Period. Pedophilia is pedophilia. Incest is incest. But they clump all that together and they want to hijack it in the same way that the feminist movement was hijacked. People are not doing what they're supposed to be doing with these organizations. And like I said before, everything floats on the Kundalini energy. That's your sexual energy. So if you plug in differently, that's a whole nother arena of energy that creates jobs, opinions. That's economy. That's why you see all this memorabilia. People want to profit on it without making the movement. The movement is in here. It's always going to be in here. The rest of the stuff is an after effect. It's just symptoms. It's sidestepping, sidetracking. The real issue is always going to be inside. That's like when Women put on makeup. You want to look good. You want to look good, or is it you want to feel good? Because one is a byproduct. You know what I'm saying? If beauty is in the eye of the beholder, what is looking good? Especially when you can step a few cultures over and you are totally out of line. You can step in this culture and not be a Muslim woman. And what you have on and what you're doing be totally ugly. Your behavior, your persona, your ambiance, your personality, your vibe is off. Not because of what you do in the personal space of your bedroom. It's because of how we sit with it. It's because of how we sit with it. So that would be the issue. Right? Intent. Why are you doing what you're doing? Okay, so you feel like a girl or you feel like a boy and you're the opposite sex and you decided that you're gay. All right. I don't see anything wrong with that. But I do see an issue with people usurping the energy of innocent people discovering their sexuality or going through life doing whatever, and placing these other behaviors that no matter what gender or what sexuality you have should not be being done, like pedophilia. That's the intent. You should not be trying to indoctrinate my children, whether I'm gay or not. They have a choice, and they'll find out what they want to do when they get there. They don't need instructions before they get there. They don't need to wonder about that until they're up on it, and it's time for them to discuss that. It's such a sacred freaking moment and time. Why aren't we talking about how sacred and precious the sexual energy is instead of how people are plugging into it? Like, you get to talk about how sacred and precious and lovely it is. Or it's supposed to be. Then there wouldn't be so much acting out no matter how you plugged in. But it's all the not talking, all the secrets, all the corruption and the usurping that's making it dirty, that's making it wrong, that's making good people, that's making lovely people become a part of a very confused, sick, distorted thing. And then they're stuck in a bandwagon, huh? Because now that's the only group that's gonna speak for you. It's like being black but not liking some things that black people do and speaking on it, and then they say you're an Uncle Tom. You know, there's an energy behind speaking on behalf of whatever it is that you're supposed to be. As a woman, if I say that I don't like some of the thing that the feminine, the movement that's supposed to be for me, that I feel like it's putting things in the air, in the atmosphere, in the ether that I don't particularly appreciate or want to be associated with. And you shouldn't say that, because that's all you got, right? You better take that feminism. Better take that rainbow that only belongs to gay people. You better take that Black Lives Matter group that was produced by some Jewish guy. 'Cause that's all you got. That's all you got. And they are so powerful and so organized and so strong that even in your institutions, it's so acceptable, and they've pushed. So you walk down the hall and you look on the walls, and there's advertisement to let you know that it's okay. Not to let you know that it was okay, like where was the talk at? The personal talk at? The weird thing, right? Speaking of personal talk, I always felt that it was weird that your parents didn't want to talk about sex, but they had sex to have you. And then you went to school, and school taught you about sex. The teacher that you didn't like or didn't like you got to talk to you about condoms and where the boy put the hole at and how babies were made. And then the rest of the talk came from other children that were experimenting. But you didn't have a proper chat. Oh, I did get some talking from the church. But I just think that there needs to be a revamping of the way that we discuss our sexuality, our sexual needs and desires. Like big girls and boys, you know what I'm saying? Like men and women. Responsible, who know they have children, and that there's children that are going to grow up using the same venues and systems, and that we don't want them sick. We want them to feel whole. We want them to feel complete, loved, and that they're able to produce mutually beneficial venues and things within society. Right? Mutually beneficial, not it doesn't have to be an arena particularly designed to one thing. It just has to be something where the intent is, if you touch it and you have the intent for it to be mutually beneficial, it's not going to burn you. You know? That you don't have to look over your shoulder for somebody's subliminal, unconscious message that they're going to program you, and they're going to program your children, and they're going to take your money, and they're going to 20, 30 years down the road be a real issue for you and your children. Or you'll put your money in the little basket or whatever, and there won't be anything there for the agenda that you actually thought you were backing. Yeah, so I don't like how they take the vulnerabilities of people, of us people, the vulnerabilities of us humans, and usurp it. Not only do they usurp it, right, and you do the capitalism thing because, you know, common sense, big girls and big boys know, okay, well, they're just trying to make money. They're, you know, they packaged up this, but no, they hijack the entire thing and then leave people afraid or uncomfortable to have other arenas of discussion or places to be able to take care of those needs. And you get really boxed in. This is a really difficult subject for me to discuss. I'm sure it's going to make some people very angry. But I hope that if you do get angry, you play it back and really listen to what I'm saying to you. Alright, so yeah, the color orange is a cleansing color. And these are the things that I'm purging out of my own You don't got to agree with me. I'm purging them from my own spirit. They've been sitting with me. And you know how you mumble and you talk to yourself and things just go over in your head? I mean, for years now, I haven't been at that college for a few years and seen those posters. But from the first day I saw them, it bothered me. It bothered me. Population control. Subliminal messages. The gay agenda. Isn't there another way to ask people to control their baby making? Come on now. Feminism. Isn't there another way to respect women? Can't we have another category? I mean, you telling me that I can't have another category to express myself as a woman is a real danger sign. In the same way, that the gay agenda is the only venue that a gay person would have to be able to speak for themselves, and with it brings all the other energy. Boom. You know what I'm saying? With it. All that other, as soon as somebody says feminism, boom. You know, it's like some people's wall goes up because there's all this other stuff that comes with it. So the woman is not heard that has a legitimate, there's things we need to talk about that do need to be cleared up and addressed. But it's all just getting so superficial and confused and, yes, you know, and discombobulated. It's getting lost. It's usurped. You can't see it anymore, but the money is still going in the pockets and the organizations are still flying. But nothing is clear. Nothing is clear. And frankly, I don't see the trickle down. So we're addicted to sex, we're addicted to drugs, we're addicted to alcohol, we're addicted to gossiping, we're addicted to bullying, we're addicted to fast food, comfort foods. And all this, if you ask me, which I know you didn't, I'm going to say it anyway, is a direct result of our Kundalini energy not flying right. We're not allowed to talk to each other, but we're allowed to act out. Oh, you can act, you can find a place to act out without even realizing why you're really acting out. You can adopt a child and be gay without us ever really getting a chance to talk about what the freak does gay really mean, without all the other flags flying that puts people and, you know, and other, there's no other category for people to be safe and talk, because as soon as you say gay, bam, all that other stuff is going to be right there. Yeah, it's the sad truth. It's not funny. There's nothing happy about that subject. Although it should have been a venue for certain peoples to feel vindicated, free, less oppressed. But where did the energy go? What is cleaned up? The burn, orange, the burn, purge, the flow. Kundalini energy is what runs our society. us women haven't even figured out how our female energy flows right. The men have gotten on lockdown. Those men that are dealing with large economy, that are providing resources, jobs, and venues for others, realize the significance of commerce, of getting together, of opinions, and that those opinions are attached to those desires, which is the reason why we will go out and buy things and do things. We will go to the nightclub. We will go to that place that has the picture that's saying that we're okay, even though we're not having sex at college. We'll tend to go there because we know they're accepting of what you do in your personal space. People go to where they can associate their behavior. Muslims go to mosque. They have prayer. Christians go to church. Where do gay people go? I'm seriously asking. Besides raves. When you plug in, you plug in. Where are the places for women to get to know? Discussing this last time. Men and women don't circulate the way that they used to. There's a whole population of young people who have not had a girlfriend, who date online. They have electronic girlfriends. Literally, not the kind of ones you talk to in a chat box, like literal electronic girlfriend. This is not real. This is not even real on the other end of the line. This is true. This happens. So they don't really know how to talk to a girl up close. Where are those places for us to get along with each other that is not the nightclub? That is not the church. A revamping of our Kundalini energy and the way that we interact with one another would bring about a whole nother economy. They got speed dating and all kinds of stuff now. What I'm saying is, as soon as you invent an arena, if you have enough capital, you can float that bad boy and have it advertised for you. And it'll be picked up and usurped by organizations, by what do you call it? Some secret agenda to monopolize and capitalize on some other thing that has nothing to do with what you really wanted to begin with. And that's what's bothering me. Not that you need the category, but what's being done with them. And yet, it takes a lot of energy to organize and orchestrate these things. Mostly the money to get people to do the things that you don't know how to do. Yes. Yes, they have created a trap, source energy to captive and manipulate the masses. Yes. Yes. And so that's what I'm saying, is that when we have a vulnerability and a need, when we have a confusion or concern, instead of it really being addressed, it's being usurped. Somebody runs off with the freaking purse. Our stuff never gets taken care of. The real place and the therapeutic essence doesn't get found within that venue. It gets found walking away from it within the pain of trying to figure out individually what's going on. And the person's personal journey as a woman, trying to figure out, well, what the heck? Feminism, can relate to a lot of stuff that I hear some of the women talking about. And then there's other things that I'm like, oh no, if I have to go within that one arena to be able to express myself under that label, I can't. And I feel that way about many of the different boxes that they have, that they said are for us to be able to work some of these things out. But they're not being worked out. They're being confused further, making a big mess and a mockery of people trying to figure out what to do with their life source energy. So what are we going to do about it? Yeah, what are we going to do about it? That's the bottom line, right? Let me see. I actually don't know. I know that intent has a lot to do with it. I was thinking of AA and how they had the 12 steps and 12 traditions and a not-profit organization, yada yada. But knowing what I know now and how that too has also been usurped by the gang stalking organization, I almost don't want to use that as a suggestion of a template. But I can't do that because those are like my personal feelings have gotten in the way. I do think that as a template, things like that might be a good idea because they give the people more power within an organization and gives them more responsibility and ways to maneuver without having it be a government. See, that's what I liked about it. You know, the government wasn't supposed to be in there at all. But they like to sneak in and usurp everything. But anyway, I didn't really want to get on that either. We're talking about Kundalini energy. The color orange and having to clean up some stuff. Sacral energy having to do with, water, and the flow of our sexual energy in society. And just talking about some of the stuff. I'm at the dam. I'm talking about some of the stuff that's stopping up our flow. People want to talk. People want things to move. People want change. Do we have to kill each other to do it? Really though? We can't grow up at all? And you know how, the whole thing is the essence. The Russian dolls. In our society, you have one thing. It's all fractals, Sick people making sick people. Hurt people hurt people. And you have grown-ups treated like children that are looking for parental advice from a government that portrays itself as parental, that's behaving like a child under serious addiction. but you keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut about it. Or like any addict, alcoholic, when things get really bad, what kind of stuff do we see happening in those areas? People get shot, they get killed. When you want your stuff, you want your stuff. They're in the habit of pushing people, of pushing thoughts, pushing boxes, pushing venues, pushing things that push you out the way, that make sure that they're pushed forward. So while we're all confused and arguing with each other on whether you're gay or black or a girl or a boy, we're not getting anything done that really needs to be done. Where are the gardens? Can you tell me how to get that person's finger off the trigger that's doing the chemtrails? We're still trying to get people to answer to us as a public. We have been herded into an arena. And those leaders who have been, there are good leaders. Talking about the ones who, and I would like to say thank you, you lovely, great leaders that use the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, like do unto others as you would want done unto you, that use their intent with the notion that that person could be your child or bump into your child. You don't want to make them any sicker than they already are. You want to help them so that you can put the right kind of energy, the appropriate kind of energy into the system so that we can actually clean the stuff up. That's the orange. The turning starts with me. I'm turning this stuff right now. Turning the stuff in me. Freaking 49 years old worth stuff. They're killing us. I'm using the phrase, "You're killing me," but watch your words. Yeah, they're really trying to do us in. Yes, making us emotionally and mentally unstable. Yes, and playing God. And God we trust. In the shadow of it all. And the shadow of that agenda is just another greedy person trying to make money. It's an addiction. Making money makes you high. Have you ever seen somebody who makes money and has their hand on cash? Let alone the symbols and the magnetism, the occult symbolism and all the other energies that goes with money. If you know about money and the magnetism and, the stuff that they're doing to money that makes you want to hold on to it, there's a spirit that's in the money. The money comes from the trees. And the trees carry the essence of our hopes and dreams as I'm speaking now. With the organs and the blood that our ancestors gave me, with my genetic structure and makeup that they put inside this vessel, this car. I'm just talking to you, doing my thing with what they gave me. And this breath and those hopes and dreams and those thoughts are all a part of the same energy. Energy never dies, it only transforms. And we're actually breathing in the hopes and dreams and the love, the aggression, the everything. That chi energy, that is us. We are the thing that makes the things float. You go out one way, your carcass is in the ground as a seed, and that feeds the trees. While you're walking around doing whatever you do, whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, you're feeding the trees with your carbon dioxide, and you cannot live without them. So whether we want to pay attention to it or not. Ma, the Mar, the earth is listening, and we're in a symbiotic relationship. They say that your children pop out with the agenda that you couldn't fulfill. I think that's fascinating, and I've actually seen how my children are able to be like, where I just kind of put up with it. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of did it. It's just a natural way for them with some things to be like, I'm not even dealing with that. The youth is freaking important. There are seeds, you know what I'm saying? Everything we think and feel and we go through is right here on this planet. It's still right here. It's planted right here. All is self. The breath of the oppressor and their bones and their flesh went in the ground. It was burnt up. It lived here. It had an energy. And it's still here. And without it being addressed, energy never dies. It only transfers. Our ancestors don't die. They transitioned. They transitioned. We are. We are what we eat, what we intake. And so that's why when I'm walking down the hall, or I'm walking down the street, or I'm watching TV, or I'm doing anything, and I see not just indoctrination, but the intent. I'm indoctrinating right now with my opinions. I'm impregnating. I'm penetrating. I'm piercing. I'm using my male part of my spirit to talk to you because I'm so passionate about this. And it's not time to be girly and quiet and laid back and wait anymore. My ancestors said, speak, and so I'm speaking. Energy never dies, it only transfers. They speak. The wind blows and they say, hey, I know you can hear me. In the same way that you could tap a little teenager on the shoulder and say, hey, I know you can hear me. I don't care what the mother knucklehead's doing over there. You ever did that to your child? Or somebody's child? Because you knew that they knew? Energy never dies. It only transfers. And in the same way, our ancestors be talking to us through our Kundalini energy, and this energy is so important. Much easier if you talk to people and say, you know what? China did it. Like, we need to control these babies. We're having too many children. But nah, see, there was an agenda. It's easier to see that there's this vampire in there, metaphorically, you could say. Just say metaphorical vampire, right? And he likes to eat people. Likes melanin. Likes body parts. The abortion clinic has a large supply of fetuses and embryos. Those things are used in medicines, even sleep medications. Melanin. Your body parts. Yep. Very lucrative business. So, make all the babies you want, even though we don't want them actually walking around. We could use the parts. Young, wild, free. Be bunnies, be energizers. We can use the parts. Well, we can't use the people. But we can use the usurping from all that stuff that you were taught in church about being young, wild, and free, pumped on one end, subliminally, but there's a whole there's whole other fractions that tell you shouldn't be who you are. You shouldn't have been doing that. You shouldn't have been in that boy's house. You shouldn't have been doing some of the things that are promoted. On one hand, you see people of the same gender holding hands and kissing. But if you go to take that back, once it catches up to you, if you catch a disease, if your heart gets broken, if you end up in AA because you can't handle your stuff, because life dealt you too much, because you're not allowed to be yourself, not allowed to talk about who you are, not allowed to find a proper placement. If you get lost with the stuff that they give us, then you're in trouble. You end up in their rehabs, you end up in their abortion clinics, you end up in the funeral parlor, you end up in the mental hospitals. And those are the places where they make money off of you. Well, they'll make money off of your children, if you manage to have them. They say the abortion clinic is more dangerous than the streets for a black child, because we realize how difficult it is, that daily grind, making the ends meet and stuff like that. And there's just so much confusion. They're using the social dynamics and demographics against each category of people. So when we can't talk with each other, and the only way we can talk is by using these organizations that, and I'm not saying every time, who am I to say that? I'm not walking up in Black Lives Matter asking them to help me, so I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm generalizing. I'm generalizing, and I'm expressing my passion about this monster, capitalism, that usurps our sexual energy, our Kundalini energy. Aren't you glad I came? Talking about orange. Let's clean it up. It's and the intention. The intention. How can we clean it up? This is a start. If you're in a category, say you're a woman, say you're a black woman, say you're a black gay woman, and you agree with some of the things that I said, that goes for men too. Whatever it is, whatever category that you're in, if you see the indiscrepancies, the idiosyncrasies, if you see the things that don't line up, that are not going to be mutually beneficial for the people using these organizations, speak up. Speak up. Say, hey, I fit that category, but I don't like this this thing y'all usurping over here. That's not going to help us in the long run. And think about all the people that will be using these different places, and that if they're serious about wanting to help people and that organization being mutually beneficial, there's the electronic interference. Your words get messed up, even things that you normally know how to say. It's actually a car. If you see something going on that shouldn't be going on, sometimes it's not safe to say something. Sometimes it will cause more problems than to be helpful to go there and say something. But then we don't have to use them. We don't have to put our energy in there. We don't have to use those places that we know are usurping our energy. And we can work on developing other things that are more useful to us, that are more workable. And in lieu of the things that I have seen going on, it may come across that I don't have a lot of hope in some of these venues in the system. That's not true. There's always hope. An extreme revamping would be more like it. When we start using our intention and things being mutually beneficial and realizing that we're not all looking for the same thing, some people are just looking to exploit stuff. They're looking to make a buck. They cannot relate to you, but they're the ones that are in charge of whatever venue that you have to use, like the mental health facility. You know, like welfare and the need for food stamps, you know. And the shame and guilt that gets placed along with people who go to use these different places. And I think I probably talked enough. I hope that what I said was not offensive. It was not meant to be offensive. I love you. All is self. We got some work to do. You know what time it is. You know what the date is. It's not time to be babies about this stuff. It's time to clean it up. It's time for us to grow up some more. With a childlike spirit, of course. Don't take everything so seriously. We got a lot of work to do, and like this is only the beginning. You know, so you get stuck here and get all clogged up and emotional about somebody saying something that you didn't like. And you might as well just sit back down and let them just roll over you. Accept whatever freaking venue they give you and complain and I don't know. Don't do anything. It's your choice. Take what you need and leave the rest. But aren't you glad I came talking about orange and our Kundalini energy? It's really cool to push past some stuff. It feels uncomfortable, it's weird, it doesn't feel safe. Kind of like love, you know? Anyway. Thank you, family, for listening to me and being here with me. Much love to you and yours. This is Regina's Rabbit Hole, and I'm out.